Listen, trust me, I know how hard it is and how challenging it can be with dealing with toxic people. And sometimes it's almost impossible to avoid toxic people. So today in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips that will help you to protect your peace when it comes to dealing with toxic people. One of the first things you want to know when it comes to dealing with toxic people is so important that you don't allow them to draw you in. And when I say draw you in, what I mean is you don't want them to draw you into their world. In their world, things go their way. And so what I mean by that is they want to control and oftentimes manipulate. And sometimes they want to dump all of their toxic emotional baggage onto you. So it's so important that you protect your mind, body, and spirit when it comes to dealing with toxic people. You don't want to fall for their tactics and their manipulation. If they feel like, or they're coming across as if they're going to argue with you or try to provoke you, remain calm, remain peaceful. Allow yourself to not allow emotions to get in the way of how you're feeling or cause you to begin to fall into their tactics. So, tip number one, don't get drawn in. Number two, you want to pay attention to how they make you feel. This is very important. A lot of times, toxic people can come across as being deceitful and try to deceive in their ways. So you want to pay attention to your feelings. How do you feel around them? Do you feel like you can't really be yourself? Do you feel like you are being demeaned at times, or some of your ideas or some of the things you say are being shut down? So maybe you feel like you can't really express yourself. How do you feel when you're around them? Pay attention to those feelings. Do you feel bad about yourself? Do you feel like you're not good enough, that you need to change the way you look, the way you act, or whatever? If you're feeling insecure, if you're feeling low, that's a sign that that's a person or a relationship that you need to begin to set boundaries around, whether it's family, friends, a loved one, whoever it is, a coworker. You want to begin to set healthy boundaries when you're feeling off, when you're feeling low, when you're feeling down, when you're not yourself. Pay attention to your feelings. It's so important that you become aware of this. Number three, when it comes to protecting your peace and dealing with toxic people, you want to make sure that you don't overextend yourself. And what I mean by overextending yourself, you want to make sure that you're not depleting yourself of the energy that you have by constantly serving them, by constantly being attentive, being there for them. You don't want to overextend yourself, because see, what happens is toxic people can pick up that you're giving, you're extending yourself. And a lot of times they can take advantage of that, and they like to use that for their advantage. So you want to reserve much of yourself. You want to hold back from overextending yourself, over giving, because what happens is you get to this place where you become depleted, where you feel like there's nothing left of you. Don't overextend yourself. And a lot of times people struggle with being a people pleaser or are looking for the approval of others. You don't need others' approval. You don't need to please anyone. Just get to a place in yourself where you can grow and be content and be grateful and happy with who you are and where you are, and know that you don't need another person's approval to stand in your truth. Number four kind of goes with number three. It's all about making sure that you are unavailable when it comes to toxic people. And when I say unavailable, you don't want to always be the one that's answering their phone calls, responding right away to their text messages. Whenever they're contacting you, they need you to do them a favor. They need you to come or serve or do something. You want to make sure that you're not always available. Me time is so important. Working on your self-care is so important. Being able to be full of energy is so important. It's great to give and to help others, but there are times when you must say no, because saying no can be saying yes to yourself. So you want to get comfortable with not always being available, and they shouldn't always expect you to be available. You are one person, and you have a right to save your energy. It's so important when it comes to dealing with toxic people, protecting your peace. Sometimes you got to become unavailable. And finally, when it comes to protecting your peace and dealing with toxic people, you don't want to take their behavior, the things they do, the things they say, you don't want to take it personally. Taking their behavior personally can cause you to become upset and mad and angry and emotional, because you're feeling like the things that they're doing is a reflection of your identity. I coach with countless of women all the time, and I talk to many women who deal with infidelity, who deal with cheating and users and in their relationships. One of the things they tell me is when it comes to especially infidelity, they felt like it was their fault. They felt like it was because they wasn't good enough. They felt like they wasn't slim enough, or they wasn't beautiful enough. I want you to know you are enough just as who you are, where you are right now. And it's so important that you get that for yourself, because what happens is when you begin to deal with toxic people, especially if you're in a long-term relationship with a toxic person, you can begin to see the things that they do towards you as a reflection of who you are and your identity, when it has nothing to do with you. Don't take it personally. Don't get wrapped up in their behavior and their verbal abuse and the things that they do to you. It has nothing to do with who you are. So don't take it personally. Grow from the situation, heal from the situation, and thrive in all that you can. You can do it. I believe in you. Now, I want to hear from you. How have you dealt with toxic people in the past? What are some things you've done? Or what are you learning? What will you plan to do going forward? So go ahead, leave me a comment. And also, if you enjoyed this content, like the video. I would love to get some feedback from you. I want to encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, if you're interested in really going deeper in this topic and you want to learn more about how to manifest real love, how to detox from toxic love, I want to invite you to join me in my free webinar. Click the link in the video description for the free webinar titled Manifest Your Soulmate. I would love to connect with you there. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.